Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is episode 22, part 2 of the Final Reckoning reunion. If you're just joining us for the first time, my name is Zach, and I'm joined, as always, by my wife, Hannah.
Good evening.
And my best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
No, you were supposed to say something different, too.
Was I?
Yeah.
That's my go-to, though.
Yeah, but I always say, hey, or hey, what's up? But
now, last week you said, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Well, I changed.
He's not lying.
No.
He's not a lion?
Never lied. I've never lied either.
No. Never once.
Well, I changed it up tonight because I'm recording very dressed up. We started late tonight because I had my company Christmas party tonight. We got home late.
I did just realize that you've kept all the same dressy clothes on.
And you didn't.
And I completely changed out of everything.
That's because you didn't really have anything to do. I was trying to clean up and move stuff out of the way. I didn't have a chance to change. So I am sitting here recording in a very luxurious sweater, some really nice heels, and my pearls. So I feel like I need to be fancy tonight.
I'm wearing a Memphis Grizzlies shirt and slides and
Pajama
PJ
pants.
But how do you feel?
I feel great. I mean, honestly.
I mean, we ate good tonight.
We did eat good.
Like, real good.
And as always,
Thanks for joining us.
I don't get invited.
Well,
Never.
you know.
Jake, you don't work for the company.
Do I have to, though?
Yes.
So
It's employees or independent contractors.
Everybody with the rules.
Or spouses.
I mean, you could have just showed up at the restaurant and it would have been fine.
Have we not?
Yeah, but you wouldn't have been able to sit with us. It was closed off. Like there were 4 waitresses at the door when we first walked in, and we told them we were the party, and they're like, "Oh yeah, go ahead."
We walked in and said, "We're the party."
Have we not grown enough as a society to just break the rules every now and then?
No,
not with my broker. He didn't eat any of his food. He was pacing the floor, going to every table the entire night for 3 hours.
it is true.
That sounds tiring.
Yeah, he was so.
He's a nervous guy.
He was so stressed out.
He wants to make sure everyone's having a good time, and that's the main thing.
Right. He is. He's a people pleaser. Yeah. He really was so worried that one person might not be having a good time. So Jake, if you had tried to crash our party, I think he would have lost his mind.
I would have had a good time.
You would have.
They would have given you free alcohol.
Well,
they were just passing it out. Did they charge those people for those drinks?
No, again, the company paid for everything.
Huh?
Same, just like the food.
I watched some people get like 4 drinks.
Go for it.
Well,
yeah.
It counterbalanced because we didn't have anything but water.
I had a Dr. Pepper.
Well,
yeah.
I had like 4 glasses of water.
That'll get you started if you have enough of them.
Woo-wee. Have you ever listen? I wanna bring this to our listeners.
Ask them to put a vote in.
I want them to just give their opinion. Is it just a thing around here, which I don't think it is, but
around where?
Around where we live.
Where do we live?
In the South?
The United States. For some reason, the Dr. Pepper from Taco Bell is a million times better than anywhere else, and it's like sweeter, and I don't understand it, but it is like drugs to me.
Listen, I'm telling you, if you go to if you go to Taco Bell and you ask for Dr. Pepper, it's like when they get the truck shipment in of the drinks and stuff, it's like they put the Dr. Pepper in the machine and then they go get like another like 10-pound bag of sugar and just dump it in there.
It's way worse for you. I can guarantee. But
do you think the incredible taste of Taco Bell's Dr. Pepper and the mysterious disappearance of the spokes dog, the Chihuahua, have any sort of correlation?
That dog's been dead a long time.
I used to have a stuffed Taco Bell dog. And like if you like,
I had one of those too, actually.
Yeah, but if you squeezed it, it would start saying like the little phrases.
What do you say?
Yeah, what's the phrase? I know it.
I remember it.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
All right, that's a little.
Is that not what it was?
It's close. Yeah. I think it's just Yo quiero.
He had a little gruff to his voice.
That dog.
Okay, Jake, you do it.
The
gruff.
That dog's been dead a long time.
Can I do it?
Go for it.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
It's been so long, I don't know if that's good or not. I don't remember.
I feel like it's not.
Yeah, I'm going to feel like it's not, but I don't have anything to base that off
I
of.
feel a lot of
We
things.
just feel like you're not good at it.
So I have one real quick thing before we jump into tonight. We've told stories I've told stories in the past of my cousin Jake. You guys might remember he was the one who got kicked out of the house for leaving ravioli in the closet.
In the closet on the shelf.
I think we may have told some other stories. I don't remember.
Not the Jake here with us.
No, not him.
I'm more proud.
So he works with me, and we were at work today, and they were having to buy. We were buying a bunch of cookies for an event, and Jake was in charge of something, and he was trying to say the word sprinkles, and he has a newborn, and he told us, he's like, I'm very tired. And he kept trying to say the cookies with sprinkles, and the first time he said the cookies with the pretzels on them, and we're like, what? And then he said the cookies with the sphincters on them. I was like, what are you talking about? This isn't a staff meeting. And I was like, pretzels and sphincters. I was like, that is not what you're wanting on your cookies.
I'm going to ask for that at all of the Christmas parties we go to for the rest of the month.
He just looked at me and he was like, I am so tired. He's like, I don't know what I was trying to say.
No, I talked to his wife the other day, and she looked at me. She's like, yeah, I'm so tired. I never sleep. The baby is up all day and all night, so I'm up all day and all night. And she's like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Like, it was real funny.
He thinks I bought him some shoes.
I don't know why.
But I didn't.
Well, good joke, I guess.
This is a good one, Jake.
Some New Balance in particular.
The ones
really?
that you bought for yourself?
He keeps messaging me like, where are my shoes?
Did you post like in third person saying, "Hey, you bought Jake some new shoes"?
Nah, I bought this Jake some new shoes.
Yeah, but did you? Is that what you? I don't remember what you put on your story. I remember seeing it.
You don't watch my stories. You don't want to know.
I watched your stories because that's how I knew about the shoes, and I was like, man, those don't even look like New Balances.
They're pretty hot to trot.
You like just put your shoe up towards me, but those aren't the right shoes.
That's not the right
No,
shoes.
those are what, Converse?
Nike SBs.
Skateboard.
I can't see it from here.
You don't need to.
So
Okay, Jake.
Before we get into tonight, real quick, just want to shout out. We got an email from Nina from Germany. I don't know
That's
what part
right.
of Germany.
That's
she didn't
right.
specify, but she just said, greetings from Germany. And she said she's never emailed podcast hosts before, but she felt like she needed to reach out. And, we always appreciate that. But her main point was what we've heard before. We had a Reddit thread about it a while back, and it was just like, I like that you guys, even though you have sometimes negative things to say, you always tend to focus on more positive things and things you enjoy. And she was just saying, a lot of this community, the people that watch the show, or at least the ones that are vocal about it.
You know what we always say? If you can't be positive, find a new prerogative.
We do say that every episode. And, that's how I open the show. I just forgot tonight.
You know what? Maybe I am like vanishing into another dimension or realm when that's being said, because I don't think I've ever heard that phrase in my entire life.
I hear it in my dreams every night.
You probably transitioned.
That's not true, because you don't dream, liar.
I do dream. I just don't remember them.
You're a lion.
I know where you went. You went to one of those multiverses that Ashley brought up last week.
That's right.
That's where you're at.
I went to the Marvel multiverse.
So, again, we just wanted to thank Nina for reaching out, and we do try to make it a point. We have things we're annoyed by for sure, but we enjoy the show as a whole, and so we try not to just really hammer down on the things we hate.
Well, I think it really helps just the fact that at least Jake and I are like super positive people.
Yeah.
Like nonstop all the time. And I think, Zachary, that may be why you married me.
No, that wasn't why. I would have just married Jake if that's the case.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you guys fight too much.
Don't most couples.
That's true.
No, we don't fight very much at all.
I've been a part of some fights here.
Jake,
That's true too.
Jake, the one big fight that we had in here
Made me very uncomfortable.
I'm telling you, that's maybe the fifth fight that we've had the whole time we've been together.
I don't know about that.
I think so. We really don't fight. Like we'll argue a little bit or disagree, or I'll get a little peeved, but we kind of cool.
Yeah,
it
we
off.
really don't like have blow ups.
We don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because like I don't want to say anything, because I don't, just in case they hear.
Wow.
I was around that a lot.
Oh boy.
And so I just made a point to not want to be that. So no, we don't really fight very much at all.
She's probably talking about me.
Yeah, she's talking about you specifically. And
when I was a child.
Every time you leave, she talks about you and how she hates how you fight. I love to fight, and I try to pick a fight with Hannah every day.
Right.
Multiple times a day sometimes.
She doesn't take the bait a lot of the times, but I'll just try.
He tried it earlier today. I had gone for an interview for a third job, and I just called him on my way back because I was going to run back to Target because it was not in our town. It was in the next town over. So I had a little bit of a drive. And so I just called him on my way back, and I was like, hey, he was like, are you going home? And I was like, no, I'm going to go to Target. I got to pick up a couple things.
And I was like, you're not allowed to go to Target.
Right.
No, I go to Target once a day. I had to get more of my
That's
cookies.
a little much, isn't it?
Again, I'm trying to start a fight, though.
I love Target. It makes me real
You're
happy.
not allowed to go to Target. That's where the horny boys hang out. And I wagged my finger.
Yeah, over the phone. I totally saw that.
Yeah.
You could not see it, but I did it.
Okay,
You don't have
whatever.
to see it to feel it.
That's
Well,
it.
I went in the Target and I don't think I saw any boys at all. There was
I
there was an old man with his wife and granddaughter. He was getting hot cocoa for them at the Starbucks.
I warned
'cause
all
he
of
was
them
in
they better
line
not
behind
show
me.
up.
Guess
I called every horny boy.
Hey,
Guess what? They didn't, because even all the workers were all women, because I couldn't find my cookies.
Because I can pull
And
some
so,
strings
like,
in this
I was
town.
asking,
Well, hey, if you don't believe me when I say you don't have to see it to feel it, just have sex in the dark one time.
Wow.
what are you telling us to do that? Or are you telling the listeners to do that? Do you think that we've not done that?
What was
I don't know how you guys have sex.
what was your phrase you said earlier?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways if you want to get into it.
I don't want to get into it.
Me either.
If you don't fight, you have no plight.
Yeah, that's the phrase you said earlier
Yeah, that's what
already
you
in
said.
this episode.
What I
Yep.
say earlier.
Something about prerogative. I don't remember.
Oh. If you can't be positive, find a new prerogative.
Which doesn't really rhyme, but you can kind of force it to make it work.
That's good. You could use it in a song.
So
what?
So I have a feeling you did that already. So let's jump into tonight because that's funny. Because they
Listen, we'll jump in because they jumped in.
That's what I was about to say.
There was no intro or anything.
Well,
It was like a black screen.
To be
and
fair, I
then-
think I fast forwarded through the intro.
I don't know.
But they did jump.
It was weird.
They went right into like here's Devin and Bananas. This is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't do anything to like preface it. It's like they didn't think about the fact that these two episodes would be a week apart.
But again, if you're watching this one, you watched the last one. I would say probably 90% of the audience has seen part one. If you're watching part two,
I mean, yeah, but still.
Yeah, I don't think they really needed to preface it, but it was a weird format for the show. Like it was almost like intervention, like where they'd go to the black screens and it would say like, "We've been doing this for 45 minutes. Devin just now decided he'll talk to Banana."
I thought it was weird that they started out the way they did, and then immediately it turns into like the behind the scenes fighting and stuff like that.
Well, to be fair, that's what happened.
I know, but that was like the first half of this episode. We didn't really get to see anything else beforehand. It's like we jumped right into this being like really serious.
That's because that was a cliffhanger from last week. Like that was the big buildup. Was like this was what's happening. They've been teasing it on social media. I've been avoiding it.
I don't know why they were teasing it though. Nothing really happened.
It's Bananas in the middle of drama. I mean, it's the main thing. The challenge has been selling for the last 10 years.
Yeah, but I didn't really care.
I can't
like,
help that.
Like as much as I love Devin, like I didn't care to watch that.
I thought it was fine. I thought they had some good. I got a lot of insight from how some other cast members felt during it. I got some notes on that.
Yeah.
The main one I pulled off from the beginning was that Ashley was sympathetic, obviously, towards Devin, but she has had her father pass away. I don't know when.
Recently, it was like the second
Champs
versus Stars.
That's what I
or
thought.
Yeah, it
Bros
was
or-
in the middle of Champs versus Stars.
That's what I
she
thought.
She had to leave.
Yeah, I didn't want to say for sure that's when it was, but I knew it was recent.
I remember that being
So that's a fresh thing to her, so she gets it.
Yeah, and like I even wrote, I said I totally get Ashley being upset because she's been through that.
Yeah.
And I don't like when she started kind of coming back at Johnny saying, you know, he was out of line for saying stuff like that and it's not okay. Like it seemed like the entire audience was on Johnny's side, and like I was not okay with that.
Well, if you noticed, honestly, the majority of the audience, when Johnny would pipe up and when Cara would, they were behind both of them, like exclusively, almost to a point. Like, and that's, I was trying to watch and see their reactions because you have a live audience, but the people in the audience are fans of the show, and you can hate them all you want. Bananas and Cara are the male and female face of the challenge, so they have a lot of fans.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they were. It's you may not check or see Reddit or the Facebook groups.
I've never been on Reddit in my life.
Well, the Facebook groups, like when this stuff started with Devin and Bananas, and it's been every week since. Like people have like gone out of their ways to, and I get it. People are going to side with who they like. But it's almost like been blindly to an extent.
Well, my thing is, I get being a fan of someone and wanting to support them in, things that they do, but I really feel like Johnny was in the wrong, and a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people are kind of like disregarding the fact that he was wrong and still applauding him and siding with him for the sake of who he is. Now, I don't know if maybe it's just the way I am or perceive things. Even if someone that I'm best friends with or someone that I'm a really, really big fan of, like Jenna, if Jenna were to say something totally out of line, I would 100% call her out and not side with her. I wouldn't defend if she said something really awful and was totally out of line, I would not defend that.
And that's the thing, like, that's because we didn't really become part of the challenge community until we started doing this podcast. We just weren't like...
Yeah, I had been on the subreddit a few times, but I didn't post or do anything like that. Just because I think, honestly, the first time I looked at the subreddit was when we were trying to figure out where that one guy just disappeared in the last season.
Oh, yeah.
Like Eddie? Eddie or Theo?
Yeah, Eddie.
Like, he was in the intro and then just gone.
Because Alicia had, like, a restraining order or something.
That may have been 2 seasons ago. But anyway,
I think it was 2 seasons ago.
That was the first time, so, yeah.
So that's something that's... ever since we started this has been bothersome to me, is like people are such a fan that like there's no reasoning for anything that for the person that they stand for. It bothers me. It makes me uncomfortable.
I agree with that, and it's not specific to the challenge.
No,
it's any fandom.
It's universal across sports. Like it's just
like you can see people who
with
do
sports,
it in sports.
We're talking about like if a team sucks or not, and somebody's unreasonable. We're talking about people being human beings and doing like terrible things.
Well, I can say like as far as sports go and that happening, like you can see like guys like Chris Paul or Blake Griffin who clearly like go out. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
His guy, Blake Griffin.
They go, or they did at least. Chris Paul still does, but they go out of their way to try to manipulate the situation. It's not as high stakes as like trying to ruin someone's family. Although I think Kevin Garnett did that a few times. Going back and thinking about it now, but people will always be like, oh, I love it. I love what they do. And again,
you wouldn't love it if they did it to you. What kills me is I feel like more people should have a moral compass and stand up for what's right as opposed to who they like.
Here's the thing that I think, because I think Johnny is the kind of guy that I think he has bully-like tendencies. He's shown that over, all these years we've been watching him on the
12
challenge.
years, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think he's the kind of guy that doesn't grasp how upset and offended someone really is until it gets down to like the final like straw with that person. And I think that's because look, you can talk about Devin being unreasonable. I mean, the man lost his dad.
Yeah.
And like at that point, and in Devin's mind, I have to assume, because I haven't lost a parent, so I don't know that feeling exactly, but I have to believe that for me, it's like, I don't care how you use my dad's name. Don't say it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to offend me.
And even, granted, after mostly everybody else already left the stage, Tony kind of reluctantly piped up and said, you know, I've lost my dad. He's like, it doesn't matter how you say it. You just don't say my dad's name.
I don't feel like it was reluctant. I felt like Tony was caught in the middle, obviously, and he wanted to go because he's not. I mean, there were vendettas. He's not really friends with Johnny outside the show, or he wasn't. He apparently had relationships with the rest of those people in that room that they showed behind the scenes, and he said, like, it wasn't cool that he said, and I wrote, you know, Tony understands because he said he lost his dad, and he said he should have never brought it up. I do agree with you, Jake, that I think Bananas doesn't understand the line, and he pushes it way too far, and then once it crosses, he doesn't want to acknowledge that he crossed the line, and he just, like, he doubles down on it. And, like, even his apology to Devin tonight
was not much of an apology.
I wrote down the words because it's a pretty, like, not generic, but it's
half-hearted.
Yeah, it's the way you don't apologize. Like, he didn't say, like, I'm sorry for what I said, whatever. He said, I'm sorry if you took it that way, or if you took it wrong.
Yeah,
and
that's how you don't apologize to people, especially
it sounds
for
like
stuff like that.
It sounds like an apology, but it's not. You're not getting to the issue. Dan Harmon, who's one of my favorite podcasters, he's a creator of Community and Rick and Morty and all kinds of stuff. He had to go to therapy for whatever, and he says, like, the one thing he learned is you acknowledge the offense, you apologize, and you commit to change, and that's how an apology works. It's not like you just say, I'm sorry you felt this way. And again, you know, everyone probably has done that at some point, but you got to understand that, like, Devin was in a raw place, and I think in his mind he could compartmentalize, this is game and this is, like, real life stuff.
I read a book
and
once.
Johnny pushed it.
I read a book once years ago, but I still reference it pretty often. I even said something about it earlier today. It talked about the differences between men and women, and
penises and vaginas.
Right.
No, emotionally and mentally.
Emotional penises.
They have emotions.
Women have a spaghetti noodle.
What?
Women have.
That's a weird name for a vagina.
Shut up. Women have spaghetti noodle brains. So, if Zachary,
they stick to the wall when they're done.
Zachary, stop cutting me off. If you upset me, like legitimately upset me to where I'm mad at you, at the other end of that spaghetti noodle, I'm still mad at you 3 hours later. Men, on the other hand, have waffle brains. In a waffle, you have all these different compartments where if something upsets you, Zachary, that's in one little square. And then you are able to compartmentalize that, put it away, close the drawer, and go do something else, and it's not on your mind.
Can I bring up one thing?
Women are not able to do that.
Why would I put waffles in a drawer?
Why'd you put them in your brain?
I will say I'd rather have waffles than spaghetti.
In your brain?
Oh, yeah.
But it makes sense. So, like, with the spaghetti noodle, the problem is just drawn out. It's still there at the forefront. If you upset me enough that I get mad at you and you don't apologize, I'm still mad at you 4 hours later.
I've seen it.
If
true.
I do something that upsets you, you can go downstairs and play video games
I've seen it.
and forget about it.
She's right.
You've compartmentalized it in your waffle brain. Jake, you have a waffle brain too.
I feel like that's an insult.
I will tell you this. I don't know if that necessarily applies to me. I hold on to stuff for a little bit. It's more difficult
So
for me.
you have like a like funnel cake brain, a mixture between like spaghetti and waffles.
Or wagetti or spaffle.
No, mine was better.
Yeah. But I mean it's just it's the difference in men and women. And so
and
yes.
penises and vaginas.
Okay.
He's not wrong. Here's the
Aside from genitalia, that's one of the large differences. And so I see how Devin could have compartmentalized that. I mean, I see it. I have seen it. But I feel like with losing your parent, especially when you're super, super close to that parent, like Devin was with his dad, I feel like, yes, I was excited to see him come on this season as a mercenary with Corey. That was super exciting. I love when Devin is on these challenges just because he brings a whole nother essence inside to this game.
He brings a like personality that we don't have from anyone else.
Yeah. Like he just brings that edge that we're not getting. And so, of course, I'm excited to see him. And he even said that he contemplated not coming on and staying home with his family, but he felt like his dad would have wanted him to compete. But the more I saw him in this season, the more I began to think, when you go through something that devastating, you're not 100% emotionally and mentally stable. When the day comes that I lose my dad, I'm going to lose my mind. And I'm not going to get it back for a while. I can tell you that. So is that good luck? But I mean, it's just
spaghetti.
Yeah. Can be replaced. Here's the thing is that
I'm trying to be serious.
I can't.
You're bringing us down.
I can't stand when, and Johnny did this tonight. I can't stand when people say, "Well, if it were me, I'd have done it this way."
Yeah,
you don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, because you've not been in that situation.
You don't know.
Well,
I've said that about specific events in my life, and then that very event happens, and then I respond in a way I never thought I would have.
You don't know like his family dynamics. Like,
Right.
It's just different.
It's different with everybody because everybody has a different relationship with people. I mean, no relationship is the same. That's why no marriage is the same. Like, some marriages, the husband and wife fight and bicker and argue like cats and dogs. And some marriages, the husband and wife don't even see each other, speak to each other. Some of them live in different houses.
Or sleep in separate beds like in I Love Lucy.
Right.
Oh, I thought you were going to say somebody that we know personally.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Sounds like you've got some tea, as they say.
Oh yeah, I love tea.
Well, it's not anything I'm gonna ever spill, especially on here.
Yeah. The one thing I did take from this is, to me, it's just that Devin can kind of separate. Like, he knows this is TV, this is real life, whatever. And I think Johnny just got pushed. And I agree, Devin was trying to push him 100%. I don't think any of us would disagree with that. He was trying to get in his mind, but I don't think he thought it would go past that boundary. However,
But that was game.
yes,
It
exactly.
was all game.
Absolutely.
Because that's anyway.
But
We've talked about that.
Johnny couldn't see that line, and so he just pushed back in the wrong way.
Yeah, I will say, Ashley brought up, like, we have 15 years of Johnny treating people badly that just kind of get glossed over. And I'm not a Johnny hater.
No.
I don't like some of the things he does, but I think he's good for the show. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we all can.
He's good television.
He helped carry the show in some weird bad seasons.
Yeah. But I mean, even ignoring all the horrible things that he's done and said in the past, there are times where I see Johnny on these seasons, just moments where I see him be a real human, and I think, man, I really like Johnny. Why don't I like Johnny all the time?
I feel like if you met Johnny, he would be genuinely nice. He would give you a great impression. I feel like he's the type of person that when you're around him for a long time, and especially in a competitive sense and, things like that, that's when things start coming out. I feel like if we were like walking down the street or were doing an interview or, met him I feel like he would genuinely be
Great.
nice. He would come across very well to us. We would like talking to him because he has you can hate him all you want, which a lot of people love him, but he's got a very magnanimous personality. Like
you want to like him.
He draws attention from a room.
Right.
And now I think that can go too far sometimes, but again, I'm not going to hate on him. But that doesn't mean that I agree with at all with the things that he said.
No, I do want to specify I'm not against Johnny as a competitor or as a person. there have been a lot of times watching him over the years where I just have moments where I think, man, I really like Johnny. I'm rooting for him. I hope the best for him. There were a couple old seasons that we went through and where I said, man, I really hope that Johnny wins this one. And
I loved the move on Rivals. Like, I hate it for Sarah. Great television. Rivals 3. We've talked about it.
After watching that happen, I said for 3 weeks straight, I said, I'll never forgive him for it. And then I watched him on the next season. And I was like, man, I hope Johnny wins. I hope Johnny does well in this challenge. And I mean, it's just like one of those where you can't help but root for him sometimes, but you also can't disregard the things that he's done in the past. You can't just pretend that they didn't happen. Because, I mean, they did.
I just wish you wished the best for myself and Zach the way you did Johnny.
It's true. You don't ever wish us anything.
Zach, I wish the best for you because that's also the best for me.
Sorry, Jake.
Jake.
No, look, I'm used to this by now. It's fine.
Jake, I do wish the best for you.
You don't.
I went through and liked some of your pictures to tell you the ones that I think that you need to advertise.
Those are the emptiest thumbs up I've ever received.
Well, you should receive them as full thumbs up because I don't give them to a lot of people.
You're not afraid of me.
That's my favorite thing. No one's going to get that reference, but it's my favorite thing. Just in case.
But also, no, I'm not.
In case anyone was wondering, I don't think we've ever talked about this on the podcast, but me and Jake have been playing video games
We've
together.
talked about this.
Have we?
We have.
Okay.
You told this story like 3 weeks ago.
It was not 3 weeks ago, but I couldn't remember it.
Maybe 4.
Yeah, 4. That's what it was. Again, one of our friends, a very country guy that used to play Halo 3, Halo 2 with us. And in the lobby, like, people would be yelling at each other, and people from the other team would try to, like, talk crap to you. And his thing, he was like, hey, you're not afraid of me. And it just catches everyone off guard. It's still my favorite thing to do.
Yes.
Anytime, like, even in, like, Rocket League and stuff where you don't talk to people, like, I have it to where I have shorthand to where I can type that in real quick. Because it just catches people off guard, especially when they're trying to be, like, aggressive and talk. One guy yesterday was, when we played, he's like, yes, I am.
Well, most times it's a bunch of punk 12-year-olds trying to be bad.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
And,
you can't tell me you weren't like that at 12.
No, I don't do trash talking unless you start getting in my face.
Okay.
I don't do that.
Yeah, we
Zach even vouched for me, and that's
we don't really do that.
That says a lot.
So
I want it to be known that I love Sylvia's outfit from this reunion show.
I thought you were gonna go with Marie. It's been pretty, like, well recognized on the internet, Twitter, Reddit. Marie's best dressed of the reunion.
Yeah, but Sylvia's not far behind. Did you see that fur? She looked good.
I mean, I didn't see. I honestly don't remember. I remember she was wearing, like, a black dress, and I thought it was feathers.
It was something, but I loved it. And now I have to get one.
But you don't even know what it is.
I'll find out, and I'll wear it every day.
That's not a good look
I'll
for here.
find excuses.
they are fellow realtors, so
That is true.
There is a deep-rooted connection.
Exactly.
She, by the way, just shout out to Sylvia.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's either yesterday or today. I saw it recently.
Happy birthday, Sylvia.
Whenever it was. Yeah, happy birthday.
We can't sing happy birthday because it's trademarked.
It is trademarked.
Is it?
That's why restaurants don't sing it, because it's literally.
And like TV shows and stuff, like, they don't ever sing.
That's why, like, TGI Fridays and them have their own, like, dumb versions of that song.
Yeah, you can't sing it, like, on stuff. Like, you can sing it in your household.
It's been copyrighted for like 100-something years.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yep.
So
Feliz cumpleaños.
well, what I was gonna say is,
That's Spanish for happy birthday. Jake.
I want to move.
I want your gears.
I thought it was
turning.
Felice Day.
Felicia Day.
No,
Happy
Feliz Day
day.
cumpleaños.
I thought they were talking about Felicia Day, the redheaded, like, nerd actress.
Is she real?
Yeah.
Not aware of her work.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
I'll
Jake.
show you later. Yeah. So I want to move past the Devin and Banana thing. I will say the one thing I before we get into that, when everyone cleared out and, like, left the stage, like, the way Cara was acting, like, struck me very weird. And
This whole night wasn't a good look for Cara.
No, and
We're not trying to just be Cara haters. It was she was not doing herself any favors.
Which, speaking of her look, you know who she looks exactly like? Poison Ivy from the Batman and Robin movie. That's who she
Uma Thurman?
Uma Thurman. I think it's the final battle. She's in like all red.
I don't remember.
And she's got her hair put up like that. It's Poison Ivy. That's who she is.
I really don't remember. I remember Uma Thurman being Poison Ivy, but
Uma Thurman has a really plain face. Kara's at least super pretty.
I'm just saying the style. Stylistically.
the outfit and the hair.
Oh, yeah, it was very festive.
Kara's also tan.
Yeah, and also apparently
Yeah.
only like 5'3", which we didn't know. But
Okay.
That's on you.
Yeah.
It was a weird moment because we know she doesn't like people, but again, like that's not the time to like pipe up and say like, oh, now we can get the party started after like it's a very like tense emotional moment between. I don't know. It's just weird.
Tonight.
It's gonna
Man,
be a good night.
Yeah.
Can't sing that. Can't sing it.
Oh, that's right.
And it's
I sang it off pitch, so maybe it won't count.
It's the thing about doing this podcast, right? Is like you just got to be prepared that somebody's going to have a problem.
Oh, I think every episode we offend.
We have offended someone.
At least 20% of the people that listen to
Right.
us because we give our
Well, they may not listen to us anymore.
and that
very real.
that might be true, but at the same time, like we've said from the beginning, like we record as soon as we stop watching the episode. Our thoughts are kind of unfiltered. This is what we think in the moment.
It's very objective, though. Like we're not trying to be like showing favoritism towards anybody, and
Try not to. I mean, we to be honest, we do have favorites, and we have people who we don't like. But
yeah.
Here's
like
the thing.
Zach and Jenna.
Here's the thing about Cara
our
tonight
favorites.
is that
they're not my favorites. But
it's just that there are probably at least 4 or 5 times where in the weirdest of moments she looked for all the attention in the weirdest of ways. It was subtle at times, and then it was
Blatant.
very blatant.
I agree. And last week, Kyle called her out for it. We talked about it. He's like, why are you trying to make yourself the victim in this? When it was something that I don't even remember what it was now because this reunion kind of runs together. But it was something that was like, this wasn't even really like about you right now. Like what? And that happened. It did happen a few times tonight. And like, I don't even like we'll get into some of that in a little bit. But it was weird. And like, again, when we started this podcast, all 3 of us were big fans of Cara. I mean, I'm not speaking out of turn there.
We've talked about she used to be more of a sympathetic character on this show.
I agree.
A person, not character. She was a more sympathetic
I feel like
person.
it is more character-like
I don't know.
these days.
I feel like she's in a weird place to me.
She is in a very weird place.
I don't think Polly's helping.
Yeah,
it.
Polly definitely like exacerbates it. Like it makes it way worse.
And this is the thing where like I sympathize with her even after all this, because I mean there's still a part of me that's still a fan of hers because I rooted for her for so long, for so many seasons. I wanted to see her win everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I was happy when she won last season.
Like even when we sat down to watch the very first episode of this season, I was like, yes, I want Cara to do well. And then the first few weeks, it was weird, and I was like, I don't know.
The first episode, she had a weird vibe.
Yeah.
But then, like towards the middle and end of the season, we were like, okay, yeah, we're back on Team Cara.
Well, you notice this when Polly wasn't around.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the thing, what I'm getting to is about Polly. I feel like I don't know if there's something toxic about him.
He is 100% toxic masculinity.
It's like he's a leech that has latched on to her and is sucking all the life from her.
I was about to make a Futurama reference, but I don't think either one of you watched that.
No.
Did you notice, though, that when the girls started coming at Polly, he flexed his muscles?
I did not.
He flexed his arm.
Notice
Do
that.
you, when people start bad-mouthing you, do you just flex? Like
Every
physically,
time.
like
That
take
makes
your
me
arms?
want to throw up.
He didn't say anything. He just flexed his muscles.
Yeah, I'm dominant over you.
Disgusting.
No, so here's my thing.
He's not good for her, and it makes me genuinely worry about her.
So-
I want good things. I seriously, like, I'm starting to get real fired up about this.
Here we go.
I want good things for her.
Yeah.
But she has to have the strength and the willingness to get away from people that are going to suck the life out of her.
I'm 100% on board with that. I want people to know if you joined us midway through the podcast, not this specific episode, but like not from the beginning. We did a rundown at the beginning of the season, before this season started, our favorite people, all of us had Cara in our top female competitors.
Yeah.
Top
5 of all time.
When I started our Twitter and Instagram and stuff, I followed a ton of like Cara fan accounts and things like that because I was just following anything I found challenge related on Twitter and Instagram, and people that we liked. So like West fan count, like things like that.
CT.
I had to unfollow a bunch of the Cara ones because of how over the top it got. Like it just did.
Super aggressive.
And
here's the thing, like, man, we wish the best for this. This is nothing, and people take it so personally, right? So they equate what we say as personal.
No, we don't know. We don't know her.
We don't know her. We don't, we'd love to get to know her. Wouldn't you love to get to know Cara?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's legitimately the half of the face of the franchise right now.
But not even for that reason. I think Cara would be a cool person to meet. I mean, if we could get her to sit down and talk with us, I would be all for that. I would clear my schedule for it.
You heard it. You heard it here first.
I would.
Yeah.
I would love to get to know the real her and see what she's like when she's not in front of a camera, because it may be a totally different person.
She is a very, and again, I just know it. I know somebody's going to be like, the nerve of you. She needs help. I mean, she needs to sit down and talk with a professional about all this, because part of it is that she has been, I think, personally, like, legitimately traumatized by some stuff. Because she has been bullied. Like, we've seen it.
Yeah, it's been on camera.
And people handle it differently, right? And it doesn't make anyone any better than anyone else, but I don't think she handled hers well.
I don't want to go as far as to say, like, hey, we're, like, psychoanalyzing, like, saying you need professional
help. No, and I'm
help.
not the guy to do that.
I don't want to say that because, again, we don't know where she's at. She may be in a weird, like, funk right now.
She may be in a weird phase of her life, like where most people in high school are like, oh yeah, I'm goth and emo, and then they go through that phase.
Me and Zach take offense to that.
And then they usually grow out of it by the time they get to college. And maybe this is just a phase. Like even when you're in college, there's a phase that you go through. Like some of them will join sororities and party a lot and drink a lot. Some of them have extracurricular activities.
Like unicycling.
What was your phase?
Yeah.
Open Water Records.
That was something.
That was your phase.
Yeah. That cost me a lot of money. For money I did not have.
It's a bad phase, huh?
Listen, our first year of marriage, he was still getting stuff in the mail about it.
Yeah.
Like asking, like saying he had like overdue bills,
which
and
wasn't
stuff
true.
for it.
I still wear the T-shirt.
Well,
I've got some. Yeah.
Listen, I found it and I was like, Zachary, what? Like I was freaking out. I was like, what is this? And he's like, that was taken care of 5 years ago.
It's because we have an incompetent local government.
Don't let them hear you say that. You better hope they don't listen.
I hope not. But yeah, again, we'll hit a little bit of the things we were kind of annoyed with as we get down to them.
There will be more Cara talk.
Did you catch the quote, "She got your man and your check," directed at Cara?
To who?
Who was it that said
Was it Amanda?
Was it no, it was Angela or Faith one that said it.
Faith said later on, don't act like you turned me down. Like your man didn't even turn me down. And that's one of the moments where Cara kind of sunk.
That got to her.
Anytime.
They were talking about Ashley and they're like, she got your man and your check. And I went, woo! That didn't seem to face Cara. But what Faith said, that got to her.
Yeah, and before we get in that, we're missing a.
I know. I'm not trying to skip up to that.
Yeah, we're missing a couple things. One, it was Devin who was talking about the Big Brother people.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Who, like, Polly was trying to be, like, defensive about it. He's like, you welcome the UK people with open arms. And, like, Devin was just like, yeah, but you guys lie more than anyone else on the show. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
That is saying a lot considering the people we know that are on this show.
You know what he did is he called you out because you have professed your love for the UK people.
You know how funny that would be if Paulie had listened and he knows that I like the UK people, but that I don't like the Big Brother people, and that was like somehow like a like subtle way to diss
He did.
me.
He called you out.
Yeah.
And now's your chance.
Up until that point, he was sitting on that couch, staring at the floor in front of him, going, "Man, I got to get my opportunity to get this one in on Zach. I got to do it.
I got to flex on it." No,
But remember, he doesn't care if you like him.
there's a difference. One, it's an MTV family versus people coming in from a completely different network that we'll get into Pauly in a minute, because I think Cara revealed some very strange things about him that we knew.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I just wanted to say Devin said that about the Big Brother people. We've even had people last week that got mad about something we said about Big Brother people. I don't care at this point, because
Now you've offended somebody.
no, I grew to like some more as the season went on, like as we got to know them. But I did feel like a lot of them came in with like, "Hey, we know how this works. We're good," and I don't.
And then they weren't.
Yeah, and so the next thing that happens from what I've got is the Brad and Brittany thing.
Girl!
That's what I have next.
I forgot.
Yeah.
It's been a while because she
Yeah.
was gone from the season from the
Did you
beginning.
see it? I don't know if she said it, but you could see it.
You could feel it.
Put the
It's like
put the TV on mute, and she's saying, "Girl,
It's
girl."
the finger wave. Even if it got
Yeah.
cut out, you could feel it.
So they ask Brad about breaking up with Brittany and if he felt like it was the right thing to do. And then they show clips of,
Just kind of a recap.
of Brittany and Chuck in the house. This is stuff that Brad never saw.
Well, he did when the season.
when the season premiered, but up until that point,
Not when they had that.
he had
FaceTime
He
thing.
had no idea, and so a lot of people thought that he was jumping the gun. Brittany thought that he was coming out of left field, and so but Brad kind of explained it as he had. My puppy's real upset about
Dogs
something.
are
He just
howling
was
tonight.
howling, and he never howls.
No.
Yeah,
I wonder if there's a coyote outside.
we don't have those here.
That's what you think. They're all over the place in Tennessee, especially
Not where we're specifically at.
I've seen some rabbits.
Zachary. There have been so many of those that have killed all the little dogs that come up to my parents' house.
Your parents live in the country. We don't.
Yeah, but they're still out.
They live an hour
Anyway,
away from us.
So Brad kind of explained his reasoning for actually believing Jose and
Well, and he said, to be fair, they had some issues before the filming started.
which makes me I want to know what those issues were.
I respect him not getting into that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be a little bit nosy. I want to talk about somebody else.
Yeah. He definitely, and let's say what we all think. We all knew last season this was a weird rebound for Brad.
It was my first impression of Brad.
Yeah, you didn't know Brad before that
I
because
didn't-
we hadn't started watching a lot of the old seasons. If we had, he wasn't on them because he took a long break.
Yeah. Well, after he and his wife won together, they took a hiatus. They retired.
Mm-hmm.
Like they both thought they would never come back.
I think what happened with Brad is he realized and said to himself, how old is he? Like 38?
He's honestly probably not that old.
36?
Yeah, I'd say maybe more like that.
I think he said,
I'll look it up.
I feel like he should be 40 something.
I'm 36 and she's not. In
Yeah.
other words, I'm mature. She's not.
Well, and she proved it tonight.
Yeah.
and
Listen, I enjoy Brittany's personality.
he is
You
38.
do?
He is 38. He just turned 38, by the way.
Yeah, I enjoy the loudness. And
Why?
it
it hurts my ears.
I just think she can go, man. She can just go.
Well, I see. CT was just like, she's aggressive.
But
Yeah,
but
she's
she
too much.
is very immature. No disrespect.
Well, even the way she handled the situation, he was trying to be kind of saying, it just didn't work out. And she was like, "Let's go." And even Devon called her out. And
Yeah.
she was like, just own it. Like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it is what it is.
He just watching their entire interaction when they first turned on the projector or whatever. screen, whatever it was that they had her on.
Transparency.
Going back to 1996.
Let me get what I'm trying to say. It seems like when they called her and told her that they wanted her to video in and talk about what happened between her and Brad and Chuck, it seemed like she had this entire speech prepared, and she's like, oh, I'm going to go all out because he dumped me, so now I'm going to show off. That's kind of what it seemed like. She was just showing out to get loud, to I don't know, but I've seen with my own two eyes people do that in real life, where they come across their ex that they hadn't seen in a few months and they're mad because they got dumped, and so they just get loud and fight and whatever. But Brad was totally composed, and I just wrote, he seems like such a sane person now, and he's right to follow what he said. He said he had to follow his gut, and I'm so glad that he did.
But it was weird. Like, the way she was, like, going about it was like, he had sex with me so hard. And it's like, is that...
Like, I get that, like, exes, like, will hook up and stuff down the road. But, like, yeah, her like, counterpoints to everything were, like, very...
complimentary. Almost.
But it was also very strange.
Yeah.
But also, again, someone tweeted it to us already. Like, Brad was like, we were not in a specific I love you program, or an exclusive I love you program. And, again, it was a weird situation all around. Again, we kind of think Brad was just in a weird, like, reboundy place in his life.
Well, divorcing from his wife and mother of his children.
And on TV for the first time in 7 years. So, I mean, it's a big difference. So, yeah, that happened. Next is, this is when all the car stuff started.
Well, before we get to that, Jenna's here.
Well, she's been here the whole time.
I did not know that she was in attendance.
She was there last week. I don't know how you guys missed it.
I didn't know either.
I had no idea she was there.
But I also didn't make a note of it.
She's in the audience. She was in the audience both weeks.
We said something, I guess in passing last week. We were like, oh, yeah, Jenna's not here, and neither is Jimmy. And I was like, yeah, probably because they didn't get past, like, the first, like,
well, and that's why
daily
Brittany wasn't
challenge.
Here either. Or Chuck.
So.
Yeah, but it again, she was in the audience last week. She was sitting right beside Tony's fiance, which was not the fiance at the time. But yeah, it's this is when all the Cara stuff started, and this is when Polly's weird, like, turn into basically like, hey, we're in an open relationship. If I want to have sex with other people, I will. If she wants to, she will.
Yeah. So Polly said that. Did you see Natalie's face?
No.
Natalie kind of, like, readjusted her sitting position, but her face looked like she was pretty shocked by that. And then it also showed Cara's face almost immediately after. She didn't look like she was 100% on board with that.
I was just going to ask before we got too deep. Knowing what we know about Polly, what do you guys think the tattoos on his forearms say?
Probably something that's from The Dark Knight Rises. Or whichever one the Joker was in.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody.
From Dodgeball?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know he loves that movie.
I don't. You know, that's a new one for me. You know, again, it's probably he's got all the Jared Leto Joker tattoos that just say ha 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 all over.
Damaged.
Yeah. He probably, like, it would, if we had to put money down, I would lean more towards the odds that he has that somewhere tattooed on him than he didn't.
Maybe across the shoulder blade or something.
Yeah. But they
Makes me sick.
They get into it. They talk about that. It's weird.
They're in an open marriage.
They're not married.
They're not married.
It's an open relationship from
They're in an open relationship, not an open marriage. He couldn't commit to her like that.
If Natalie was as uncomfortable as Hannah claims she was, do you think it's because she's part of the openness? And maybe Cara is unaware.
I don't know.
I think they're all three in on it.
Well, we've kind of thought
we
that
don't
a little
know.
bit.
Well,
it's not confirmed.
It could be that Natalie, like, if they are all three in a thruple, maybe Natalie.
I'm not using that word. I'm not using it.
Maybe Natalie was shocked that Polly announced it on national television.
Because they've done stuff on Instagram and whatever.
But like But to openly,
they did what on Instagram?
They called themselves the thruple or whatever.
I thought you were.
That's not a term they coined.
But they use it.
Yeah, they use it, but I mean that's like a term that people use. But no, I mean maybe she just didn't know that they were going to officially announce that they do have like an open relationship.
Or maybe she was offended that she wasn't mentioned as part of the openness. There's a lot of scenarios here.
She's in a relationship, I think. I don't know.
I don't know, but
she could be in an open marriage.
But
they're not married. One's married.
Nobody's married. Again,
maybe they don't want
except,
you to know.
except for CT. He's married at this point.
You're right.
He went.
But also, if you missed Kara's doubtful face, Natalie's surprised face, maybe you caught Faith's grossed out face.
There was a lot of facial reactions during all of this that people were like, ugh.
Faith kind of like almost jumped back a little bit, but her face looked like she was absolutely grossed out.
Hannah, if I took notes of all the facial reactions, I wouldn't have any more space on my hard drive. I'm just making a joke.
I didn't make a note on that.
I'm just making a joke.
There's a mental note.
Is that a bad joke?
I mean, I would say it's like
Middle of the road.
a neutral.
Jake, it was one of your better jokes.
I'm the best at making neutral jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about the Faith thing. Jake squeaked his foot on the ground and then said the word squeak, and that's what he thinks is really funny.
That was funny.
Yeah, that's the level of like your jokes. That was the funniest joke.
That was so dumb. Oh, that was fun.
Can you tell I'm still single?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
You could change that.
we talked about Faith already, and apparently Kara tried to like say that she tweeted that Faith tried to hook up with her and she turned it down. Whatever. We already talked about
yeah,
that.
well, like I didn't know about that beforehand. So when they started talking about that on the reunion tonight, I was really taken aback. Like I was shocked. I had no idea about any of that.
I mean, again, it's the weird thing with Kara where she tries to be like overly self-righteous, and then also at the same time say she's not a role model, but then she does things that go against
Being a role model, and then she says she never claimed to be a role model.
Yeah, it's like again, last week they talked about how she was so upset about a private text from someone leaking out because there's a group text. And, Angela brought up, well, hey, you had no problem live streaming me and Cam getting into it whenever we didn't know we were being filmed.
Right.
And, that was an even bigger invasion of privacy.
And then her quote, it was just kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird, man, because...
How many people called her hypocritical tonight to her face?
Oh, at least, I think 3 or 4.
Yeah.
At some point,
it was multiple people.
It's not a coincidence.
No, I agree with that.
Speaking of coincidences,
Squeak.
they decide to show a clip from how tattoo far is tattoo far.
Yeah, I was about to get into that because at that point when they were filming the reunion, that episode had not aired yet. So a lot of the people were on stage were seeing the clips kind of for what I assume is the first time. They probably knew.
Now I had a whole lot of notes on these facial expressions.
There was a lot during this, and it was we all thought it was weird. We didn't really talk about it on the show much, but we were like, it's weird that they've known each other maybe 3 months,
2
conservatively.
at this point.
Yeah,
because somebody said 10 weeks.
Yeah,
earlier.
And so she is putting her face body on him, on his thigh, large.
Yeah.
For life, not in a way that can be covered.
Yeah.
And the face isn't done very well. It's not a great face.
But that's not her fault.
No, that's not her fault.
That's Tattoo Far's fault because they spend all this money trying to get good
Better
hosts.
hope they don't listen.
No, I don't care. I hope they listen. They need to spend more money on good tattoo artists because
Who cares? The people on that show do not deserve good tattoos.
I know, but that was just done awful. It was awful.
Yeah,
Did somebody get a chastity belt put on?
Yeah, we did talk about that one.
Yeah. That was real bad.
Yeah, so they do that.
They didn't show the whole episode. They just showed
No.
a few clips of the reveals.
This was when the weird troubling reasoning started with Kara. Kara then jumps into a thing where she basically admits what we've all talked about but didn't have 100% proof, that, oh, well, Paulie admitted to me he's the ultimate fan of the challenge. He's watched every season. He's told his friends before he was ever on the show, hey, I want to hook up with her.
No, he said,
I know what he, yeah, I just was.
We're not,
clean
no,
version,
no.
I'm going to bang that girl.
Exactly.
Okay.
He said that. He's obviously watched a lot of the seasons.
She said he's watched every single season.
That's what I meant. And he... Does that not ring like troublesome to her that he knows beforehand that she's like the face of the show and
then goes after her
even when he has a girlfriend?
Did you hear Kyle yell out, so he's a fan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He said, so she's sleeping with fans now. And it is weird. Like her reasoning, she thought it was a great reasoning for putting that tattoo on him. Oh, he's the ultimate fan. I'd give him the ultimate autograph. And I was like, that's weird, man.
That's really weird.
It's weird, and
it's like those girls that get Stockholm syndrome that start dating their stalkers. That happens.
Oh, I know what Stockholm syndrome is.
And it's not okay. It's not healthy.
It's very troublesome and disturbing because
it makes me super uncomfortable.
The reasoning is weird. It's just weird.
It's weird, and then you partner it with the fact that she took the very same tattoo idea and put it in the very same exact place.
Which it was Tony that brought that up.
As Kyle had of his ex-girlfriend.
So Kyle took his pants down just far enough to show his girlfriend's tattoo in the exact same spot. And then Paulie says, it's just a coincidence.
No, but before that, like they cut to Cara and Kyle and they isolated the audio because everyone's yelling. Because everyone's like, what? And she looks at Paulie and it's like an aside to where it's just them two. And I may have even had subtitles. And it was like, I knew they were going to try to spin it this way, but I was like, yeah, because that's what happened. Like, it is the same spot. It's the same.
You can't spin that if it's factual.
I'll give her, it was a different, like, his was more of a just, like, from the, like, bust up. Like, it's shoulders up, and hers is a full body, but
that's not much of a difference.
It's weird.
Well, the thing is, like, when do you normally feel the need to cover yourself? Like, when something's been put out like that? Think about it. There's a secret come out you don't want to know about, and you're going to turn to the person you're closest to. So in this case, Paulie, who she's with,
to give him a heads
up. No, it's no big deal. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, she said, I knew they were going to try to spin this to look bad, and because it's weird, it's so weird.
It's weird,
and that tells me that Paulie didn't know about that.
No, he didn't, because he was like, that's a coincidence.
So that's her way of kind of giving him a heads up, literally seconds beforehand, so that he doesn't think on his own.
Weird. I really would like to know what he was thinking in that moment, because
I wanna know.
He said, "Oh, well, that's just like," he literally was like, "That's just a coincidence," and I said, "That's not a coincidence, man."
And you can tell he's not 100% sold on that.
She knew immediately when they started talking about it, it was coming, and the whole situation is very weird. We already said that many times.
Well, even when they initially showed the clip, everybody's face, because they showed Paulie's tattoo first, the one that Cara put on Paulie, and everybody's face is either weirded out or grossed out. They showed Ashley's first, and I wrote down Ashley's facial response at this tattoo.
So you did take notes on facial
Yes,
expressions.
I took notes on Ashley's, and I was like, this is everything. It's giving me life right now. But then you can also hear Amanda's audio lean over to Shane and say, that's not good. And then somebody comes out and says, why would you ever put a tattoo of yourself on someone else?
It was Amanda, because I wrote, people hate Amanda. I was like, she's right about this tattoo.
It's weird, and it's not okay.
It's extremely narcissistic. Like,
yes.
It is the honestly, it might be one of the most narcissistic things I've ever seen. Like, and we like Cara. Well, we have weird feelings about her in her current state right now. But
we like her in general as a whole.
Here's the thing. She's been in and out of not great relationships. She said she's not good at relationships in the past. She's got to know, even if she doesn't want to admit it and she wants to repress it, they're in a weird open relationship. 99% chance this is going to not work out. They're not going to get married to spend the rest of their life together.
Listen, it just takes the one girl for him to sleep with.
But that's
and she's not okay with it.
that's not even my point. My point
but
is,
that's part of it.
But my point is that she's got to know, even if she doesn't want to admit it, this isn't going to work out in the long run, because clearly he's already cheated on his current girlfriend to get with me. I have a history of bad relationships. He obviously is not very good at them. I'm giving him something that will be on him forever, that everyone that he is in relationships with from here on out has to look at. It is, one, he doesn't wear very many clothes.
That's
No.
true. There's just so many self-destructive tendencies.
Yes.
Do you remember when we watched the actual episode when it aired a few weeks ago? They had like the
I didn't watch it.
We did watch it. We did. I swear we did, because they had individual interviews, and so when Kara was getting the black bird, Paulie was explaining it. He's like, she's gonna love this because it's the black bird from.
He put thought into it.
What's that show they watch?
The Crow.
No, the big show that everybody's watching right now.
Big Bang Theory.
No, the one where with the incest and the dragons.
Whoa.
Oh, it's just called Incest and Dragons.
Okay. Well, anyway, he was like, she loves this show. It's her favorite show, so she's gonna love that.
We know it's
And
Game of
then-
Thrones. We know.
Oh, okay,
We
Game
know.
of Thrones.
Somebody's screaming.
I
right
could
now.
not. I could not think of that.
I was going to let it go.
I couldn't think of it to save my life. I was gonna say war on something.
War on Dragons.
No, but like he did. He wanted it to be meaningful. He was like, this is the Blackbird from
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. This is her favorite show. These are the coordinates of the exact
It had a
place
red heart for some reason.
where we met. The red heart is my heart because I love her. And then
Well, red represents blood, which is used in covenants. So
Gross.
do with that what you want.
I don't think he talked about that.
But then they cut to Kara while Polly is getting the tattoo of Kara's body. And she's like, even if we break up, he's always going to have this
Because
memory.
he's a super fan.
Like she literally said, I don't have her exact words, so don't take this as a quote, but she did say something along the lines of, even if we break up, he's always going to have this. This is a permanent reminder of me.
In her mind,
And
it was
that's-
the ultimate autograph.
That's kind of psychotic.
It is narcissistic and possibly. I'm gonna have to watch my words on this, but it is the mind of a sociopath who thinks the world revolves around them, which would theoretically have in her mind why she thinks that she's the victim in everything, because her world mind view is. It's about me. Everything that is said is about
And
me.
look, you can see it, like, because anytime someone tries to come back at her, in this episode in particular, and you saw it throughout the season, she just, like, if you can shut down, that's what she does. I mean, she literally puts her limbs together, puts her head straight down, and looks at the floor.
I will say the only person she didn't do that with was she was like being very sarcastic about Amanda. Yeah.
Yeah. Amanda, she'll bite back.
Yeah.
Zach, if we were 2 months into our relationship and
I like this.
put a tattoo of myself on your thigh, what would you have done?
I'm here for it.
Well, here's the thing. A couple of reasons. One, I'm not dumb enough to let someone else choose tattoos for me, let alone go on a reality show that the whole premise is someone's going to pick something for me, and if we were smart at all, we would know it's not going to be anything good, because that's not going to make good TV. Two, no way in the world would I ever let you, especially at 2 months, pick that out, because when we first started talking, after a while, I was like, this girl is crazy.
Oh, wow.
And
this is news?
but this no, you know what I'm talking about.
This is news?
Because you would just completely ignore me when it came to certain stuff, and then like,
Yeah, not a good look, Han.
In
Not a
my
good look.
defense, I was about to move 4 hours away.
it was a thing to me. It was like, you can't make up your mind, which again,
That's a red flag.
that would apply appropriately to Kara, And so, no, there's no way I would ever let that happen.
Well, also in my defense, I thought that if I just ignored the question, he would forget about it.
What, will you marry me?
No.
No, that came at, what, 3 months?
No.
God, Zach.
No.
He knew. He knew from day one.
I
was it.
No.
And I said yes at 2 o'clock in the morning after not sleeping for 3 days.
You asked her that early. Was that late?
It was late.
It was
late.
It was like 2 o'clock in the morning because we made 2 different pit stops.
What a love story, you guys.
So no, here's the thing. They live in their own mind space,
That's
which
right.
is not a normal one. Obviously, they are used to being on TV. They're used to having decisions be whatever. I do not believe for 1 second that Paulie, when this initially started, had legitimate feelings for her. I think he came in as a fan. He knew whatever. He thought she was hot.
Well, he did say that he had told his buddy that he was gonna do the deed with her. So maybe
He's gonna do her.
Shh.
What he said.
We can't get too explicit. It's not nice.
It's for the kids.
He did say that he was going to do it, and maybe when he got there and saw that she was actually on the season and single, going through a weird breakup with Kyle, and she's in a weird place trying to maneuver through that, maybe he just saw his opportunity and just wanted to jump on it I feel like it was to check that box.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he doesn't have feelings for her now.
Yeah, he might genuinely care for her now. I don't think he did it first.
I will say he like on that tattoo, whatever. I only saw the clips on the internet. I didn't watch the episode. I saw like it on Facebook when they posted it or Twitter or something. He did put thought into it.
A lot of thought.
Yeah, and I think he was playing up the "I love you" angle for the show.
Well, he said that they had never said it to each other before, so he did it in front of a camera on a TV
he's
show.
been on enough reality shows. He knows the ins and outs of what makes good TV, and so I think he played that up. I'm not saying he doesn't feel that way for her now, but again, it was all weird. Tonight was just a very, 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 very strange from the perspective of the reasoning she had on things. So
I feel like we just need to.
I was gonna be done with that after all.
No, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to take about 60 seconds and just do some healing, because I think there's a lot of people hurt over all the car talk we just had, because we got her pretty good.
Why do you sound like you've been smoking a pack?
We also
you do.
We also
sound
prefaced
weird.
it talking about how much we were fan. It's just a
Yeah, but you know, Zach,
I know
it doesn't matter a lot of times.
I know. It's just a weird thing, and we
want good things for her, but there have just been a lot of red flags pop up.
I mean, legitimately, like,
You know why we're so concerned?
Because we care about her.
Because we care, gosh darn it.
Well,
we care.
like-
I legitimately care about her like she's a friend.
for me and you, like, she's legitimately been like someone we're aware of in our life for like the last 8 years.
Listen, when we were watching Wes pour soda over her head, we were upset over that.
And we're big fans of Wes.
Yeah.
Big time fan of Wes, and I'm still upset over it.
Well, and you know, now that I've heard his side of the thing, I have heard his interview about that. He talked about it. He's like, I was a jerk. I was an a-hole. I shouldn't have done it. However, and then he prefaced it. There were some things that led up to it, and some social cues that she did not seem to pick up on. And when she came in, people thought she was very weird and just vibed wrong with everyone.
But again, back then in those days, just the way society was, it was okay to bully the person that didn't fit with the clique.
I don't know about that, because again, at the time we were watching that stuff happen, and we were like, that's not right.
Made you uncomfortable.
Yeah, because it's someone that you see that
But
you're like, I'm a fan of this person, but I don't agree with what's happening.
Yeah, but nobody got into an outrage over it.
Oh, that specifically, that was a huge blow up. I think that may have been the same night where Paula and Laurel got into it, and like Laurel
got all up in
ate her
Paula's,
heart out. Yeah.
Yeah, but
She made her hyperventilate.
Yeah. That may be the season we need to go back and.
I feel like we just watched that.
We did, but not. We'll figure that out. But anyway, I'm And unless anyone's got any like final quick words, done with the car situation for the night.
No, I'm done with that.
Okay, so a quick shout out. We spent a whole episode talking about it. We interviewed her. I like that Dolph brought up, hey Cam, we're going to spend 5 minutes of airtime, which probably was 15 in real life or more. We're going to talk about your strategy. As we were watching it, we still were like, that move was solid. Like it was such a good
It made
strategic
challenge history as one of the best moves ever pulled.
It's literally why we wanted her to come on the show, and she did. And again, we shout out to Kim.
That was really cool.
Have you listened to that interview
Yes.
yet? She hasn't.
I told you last week I had.
She's a liar last week.
And even Brad, one of the originals.
I wrote that.
Thought enough of that to say, did he say this is the greatest move? Or
I don't know. I don't know if
moves?
he said that, but I just wrote he definitely gave her props, and he's an old school guy that's been around as many weird twists and turns as you can think of, and he was like that because he was part of it. He was on the receiving end of it.
Well, the thing was, like, in the midst of that, like, they were trying to ask Kim, how she came up with it, how she pulled it off, and she's trying to talk, and then Angela and Faith decide that they're going to interject and say, oh, we could take you. Why don't we do that? And it came to the point where Brad was the one that talked over them because they were just yapping.
Cam was not. She was not worried about them.
No, she just wasn't going to give them the time of day.
She went back at him, but she wasn't raising her voice and getting worked up.
That's the thing. Like, she was so classy. But Brad was the one that redirected the conversation. And I just made a side note, give Cam the praise she deserves, because that was just, it's still so awesome.
It was good to see her get the respect she deserved, because she may have said 10 words last episode.
Part one, she was very low-key, like she didn't make much of the edit.
But you know what, I think,
she's reserved in these reunions.
I think she's totally fine with that.
Yeah.
So let me I had a quick thought about that. There's a lot of people, I would say a lot, but there's a decent amount that I've seen vocal on Twitter or Reddit or Facebook groups that don't like Cam.
What's not to like?
Well, I'll tell you what their reasoning is. They don't like Queen Cam, Killer Cam, all that types of Coach Cam from our interview.
That's right.
They don't like that side of things. And to me, the difference between Cam and a lot of the other people, it goes back to her being quiet in the whatever. It comes back to her calm demeanor when people are getting up at her. She doesn't get worked up. The most she ever got worked up was against Melissa when she was in her face and they were drunk at 3 a.m, which is why they were paired together this season. Cam has a steady confidence about who she is, and she knows what she is. She knows she can back things up, so things don't faze her, and she doesn't get involved in stupid stuff that she doesn't need to. She comes across to me as one of the most confident, but at the same time she just knows who she is.
She's very level-headed.
Yeah, she's smart.
Yeah, I made a note that Kim is the smartest person ever.
Well, I don't agree with that, but
I think she's pretty darn brilliant.
I mean, are you looking at the two guys sitting in the room with you right now?
I am.
We talked to her.
I still think she's smart.
We talked to her about it, and again, she's very intelligent, and she's running a business, and she just knows who she is.
I want nothing but good things for her.
Yeah, she's not going to lower herself to certain levels or whatever. And we were talking while it was happening, and Angela was just going at her. But Angela comes from Bad Girls Club.
I couldn't tell you one thing that argument was about.
I couldn't either.
No idea.
But
I didn't hear a single word, because to me, it's her way of getting her point across or trying to make people hear what she says is just to get loud and yell. But when people do that, I kind of turn my ears off and ignore it. I don't want to hear
hit her
you.
with facts.
You know what Angela sounded like is the aliens from Mars Attacks.
Okay.
Listen, I watched that movie.
All right.
I watched that movie way too young, and it absolutely traumatized me. I think that's why I'm so freaking terrified of aliens.
Huh.
Yeah, there was a lady that got her head attached to a dog's body.
Not that. It was just the aliens were so scary.
So we're traumatized by different things.
I had nightmares for years.
So
years.
The main thing I want to say is when Angela got all worked up and was like, "You want to fight me? Let's step out." She just wanted to fight because again, Bad Girls Club.
They don't know anything else.
That's what they're known for. Cam was just listen, because I think Angela's hitting her, well, you're treating us bad when we were rookies. And Cam's like, when I was a rookie, I went against every mercenary. I beat every one of them. And like she was calm and whatever.
Yeah, I wanted to give her a standing ovation for that.
What I told you when we were watching it, I said, one, I think Cam would win in just a physical fight against Angela. I think Cam
She's
would
strong.
handle herself. She's not big.
She's got that. What is she? Is she Jamaican?
Jamaican.
She's got that Jamaican strength.
They're known for
Is that
their
not a real
strength.
thing?
I don't know. I mean,
There's
Is
a
it
Jamaican
Rihanna?
character in Tekken. Eddie?
he wasn't. Was he Jamaican?
Is he not Jamaican?
I don't know.
He moves around.
Eddie
like it.
Gordo.
Isn't
No,
Rihanna Jamaican?
I don't know. Let's not get into all this because I just don't know.
I thought
you
she said
played
she
it.
was.
Oh yeah.
That was your go-to game.
Oh, Tekken 3 was great.
Yeah.
But no, my thing with her is I feel like Cam would win a fight, but I also feel like Angela would be the type of person who would have a knife and try to stab her. And like that's how she would win a fight.
Well, she's an alien from Mars Attacks.
Yeah, I mean that's what she does.
I really thought we were going to see a nip slip.
Oh yeah, people have been very concerned about Angela.
I was so on edge, and she kept sitting like spread eagle and bending over, and I'm like, oh, here it comes. It's going to happen. It made me nervous.
She's got a lot of tape.
You wouldn't wear that?
No.
Would you wear it, Jake?
I feel like I've seen you in that kind of outfit.
That's what I'm wearing right now. What I said earlier about the PJ pants and stuff, it's just a lie.
Not true. That's what he wore to my company Christmas party.
Yeah.
You got your. I can see your underboob right now.
Yeah.
Yep. I am glad that Sylvia finally got an Oscar for
Yeah,
her,
that's
for her
funny.
performance. If she had not played that up so well, I don't think the plan would have done it. Would have gone through the way it was supposed to.
The way
that it did.
The only other quick thing we just obviously Tony got engaged.
Also, Zach got really mad and like his whole body was shaking.
Yeah, that was weird.
I don't know if anybody else noticed that. I just wanted to get that out there. Like, if you didn't notice it and you recorded this, go back and watch it.
Yeah,
That's when you're really angry.
Yeah,
It's when
he
your
was
mouth
really
quivers.
angry about that. But
We don't know Amanda's secret.
No,
Whatever
'cause
she was ready to bring out. into the
I
open.
real quick, I will say if it was something like that could genuinely like it's not game related.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of goes back to the Devin thing. I applaud her for not bringing that in to the TV
What
side.
do you
of
think
things.
all the Amanda haters will have to say now?
Oh, they'll still hate her. Because again, she
They'll
went
say
Cara.
that she
went
chickened out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can spin it however you want. But
Yeah.
again, Tony got engaged.
Finally. You know this is 13 years in the making?
She hasn't been with this one for 13 because he was on The Real World with a girl named Madison.
I guess they met or initially got together 13 years ago because he made a big post about
Okay,
it.
they may have met then, but like he was dating a girl named Madison from.
Well, he posted a picture of him and Alyssa, and it was them 13 years ago. He was like holding her in his arms.
Oh yeah, I think I do remember him posting like old high school pictures.
He said one thing that I just want to bring up that's great for any man to use, I think.
Yeah.
Through all my ups and downs, you made me a better man. Now I'm asking you to make me a complete man. That's good.
Listen,
That's solid.
he kept choking up, and
He did. It was-
I was like, oh my gosh, Tony's gonna cry, and then I'm gonna start bawling.
So I had one last thing that I want to hit before we kind of get to superlatives and all that. I pointed this out to you guys.
Yeah,
I said we were done with the Cara talk, and I genuinely was. And even as this episode aired, I said I
This
thought we
is
were
just
done.
a confirmation of everything we've talked about. Basically.
So I legitimately, in that moment, everyone again. Tony is a pretty well-liked guy. Bananas was his rival, but that was, because of the setback with Devin.
He followed us on Twitter, so we like him.
Yeah, again, no, we like Tony.
We would like super like him now.
Yeah.
yeah, but no, like Tony's one of those guys you can't not like.
Yeah, and that was the point was, he got engaged. Everyone on set was happy for him. Dolph was standing, clapping.
Dolph doesn't even know him.
Well, and I was going to tell you guys, I was like, Tony's one of those guys that like you just genuinely are happy that something's going well for him and you want him to, be successful and succeed and all that. After I was going to say that, they show the entire people like on the stage from as wide of an angle as you can get.
Everybody.
Tony's down. They're celebrating. I think he just stood up and they were kissing. I have a picture of it. I'll put it on our Twitter.
Of Tony and Alyssa kissing.
Oh,
Well-
you better not put it on our Twitter. We're gonna get it.
I think I'm going to.
We're gonna get it
because
so bad.
it shows what we were talking about earlier. I mean, I may put it on a story on Instagram or something. But if you look at that, everyone on stage is clapping and celebrating.
Corey, Devin,
Yeah,
CT.
even the people who got in like some riffs with him during this reunion. Everyone's happy, everyone's clapping, everyone's standing. Cara and Polly are the only two people sitting down. They're the people that are not clapping. I will say, at the very end, when it was like he was dismissing, she did a very sarcastic clap. Yeah. But if you watch their body language, we rewound it a few times and watched it.
It looked like Polly was consoling.
He was rubbing her back.
It's like she was upset about something.
And she might have been, because a lot of stuff happens during this show. The problem is, like, be happy for someone else. Right. Like, just be in the moment. Like, literally every single person. Again, I've got a picture. I'll put it up. Every person.
Johnny and Devin have been at each other's throats this whole thing.
But they recognize this is bigger than the show.
This is the rest of his life. So like Johnny had the typical GoPro cam that he usually has like on the planes and stuff in the airports.
And that could have been MTV knew this was coming, and so they're like, "Hey, get in there."
Well, I'm sure they did.
So it's just it goes back to our thing with Cara. It was just a weird vibe she was giving out all night. Like her demeanor during this moment is so like closed off and like weirdly almost upset. Like Marie's standing beside her cheering, Devin, like literally every single person, Faith and Angela, it's literally everyone in the entire cast, even Dolph, and then they're just sitting there and Polly's like rubbing her back, like consoling her. And it's just it goes back to the whole weirdness of this whole situation, which is whatever. And with that, I am done with Cara about this episode.
And Final Reckoning is done.
Yeah, Final Reckoning's over. And
who knows?
We're over.
Maybe
this is our last podcast. We're done.
No, I will say I want to say if you've stuck around this far, we kind of decided tonight. We had talked about doing the CT recap. I think what we're going to do is not promise you guys the week-to-week recap of the CT wedding, but we will watch part 1. If we feel like it's got enough content in it to do a show about, we may, after part 2, do a podcast, just kind of encapsulating the whole thing, because Wes and Cara and other people are there.
Also, I have mandatory training all day long next Tuesday. I might not be up for recording. Yeah,
and it's challenge adjacent. It's not really challenge related.
Well, we've been going pretty strong for some time now, and as much as we love doing this,
we've had no weeks off.
We could use a Tuesday night off,
and that doesn't mean we're done podcasting. And actually,
I was just kidding.
We have some interviews worked out or lined up. Let's say, we have a couple other ones that we have some talks
that
are up in there that we haven't nailed down anything. And one of them is going to happen really soon.
But also, it's December.
It's the busy time for everyone, and so
it's crazy.
We're not going to go anywhere, but we might if we do a recap on the CT wedding. It'll probably be after both parts air, and we'll just do like a one-off like show. But we will at some point soon do our look ahead to season 33. We've got a couple of other things we'll get worked out, and we might try to get in. If we can figure out when the next season's going to air, we need to work out the timing to go through another season with you guys, where we let you guys pick an old season. You let us know which one we should do, and we'll watch through it same way we do it every week with this, and we will give our opinions as it happens. And so we'll kind of figure that out as it comes, but don't look for a CT wedding recap next week. That's just FYI. That doesn't mean there's not going to be a show next week for sure, but we've got some things just kind of up in the air. It may not drop on a Tuesday night like we normally do. So
your best bet is to follow us at
Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram, Smashing Heads Podcast on Facebook. You can email us, smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com. P.S. Paul, I will be emailing you back in a minute. I didn't get to yet, and I did read it, though.
Because if you stay in touch with us, then you don't have to wonder about us, because you know.
Exactly. And so let's get into the the last superlatives from Final Reckoning. We're not as a season overall. We may do a look back at the season, but just our thoughts on what happened tonight. Who smashed some heads? Who wants to go first? Jake will go first.
No,
You raised your finger, and then you pointed at me after I acknowledged you. So you want to go, Hannah?
Okay. Wait, which one are we doing
Who
first?
smashed some heads?
Smash some heads. Faith to Cara.
Oh, about I got your man didn't even turn me down or whatever.
I turned you down. Your man didn't even turn me down.
Yeah.
And I was like, woohoo!
Yeah.
That was a good one. Got me fired up.
Jake?
Paulie.
He smashed some heads?
Well, he flexed on them.
Okay.
He flexed on us.
It may have been directed at me, just like the other thing earlier.
Right.
I think subconsciously part of you kind of hopes it was directed at you.
I do actually, yeah.
I think it'd be freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I had trouble with tonight trying to think of the superlatives. I think to me, you know what? I'm gonna give it to Tony.
I thought you were gonna go with Paulie, like me.
I'm gonna give it to Tony for two reasons. One, he was the one who brought up the thing about Kyle's tattoo.
Yeah,
and he was
a good one.
Yeah, he's like, it basically was like told Bananas like, watch this. I'm gonna let's throw this out there.
I think Bananas was a little proud of him for it too.
Yeah, and so that moment was a big part of the show. But also, you know, Tony got engaged. He's putting his life together and getting some.
Go ahead.
Because here's one thing I'll say.
Thank you.
A couple years, like a 2 years ago or so.
You got married a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about.
More than a couple.
2 years ago, he was on a podcast from Barstool, the No Quitters podcast.
We listened to
Yeah,
that
we both
one.
did.
Yeah.
That's probably the only challenge podcast we knew about back then.
Yeah.
And they talked about how he was gone. Like, he was just a black hole of an alcoholic at the time, even in studio. And that was when we saw it on the show happening. And
yeah, I remember that.
it was not pretty for him. So where he's come to, I think he's smashed his past lives' heads, but then also for tonight.
Past lives.
He's a cat.
I know what you're
Yeah.
saying.
He brought up the tattoo thing, so I like that.
I think he has so much good ahead of him.
To me, he's like a golden retriever. Like
in the puppy stage where it's hard to train them. You know, it's not all.
But you're ultimately happy to see him no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they get older and they're just so smart and friendly and they just want to do anything to please you and they're just so good.
So
Tony's so good.
Yeah, that's my pick. So
He's so
who
good.
got their head smashed?
I put Paulie when he saw Kyle's tattoo.
I do think that moment caught him off guard for sure.
Oh, it got him.
He flexed on you guys.
So
It still got him though.
so what's yours?
Somebody smashed Zach's head because he was
Me?
quivering.
Oh, you talking about
Not you.
the Zach? Yeah, I think that stuff with Amanda was
It was really good.
he was trying to contain something.
He looked like he was just about to scream.
Yeah.
For a split second I thought he might just reach out and hit her.
We don't condone that.
No,
I,
not at all. I was worried because there was something going on.
Yeah. It was there's levels to like real life, show life, things like that. And so
And I think this went beyond show life.
I'm gonna, you know,
It's like you're thinking about it right now. You should.
I
have already decided.
I don't have it written down because again we were coming in late on this one, and so I'm gonna say that I don't want to pick Cara because we said we were done with that.
Then pick somebody else.
You know, I'll say for my sake, the Big Brother people, just in general, got their head smashed. Specifically when, what's his name? Devin said every one of them lies more than anyone else on the show.
I thought that was a good burn.
And they all got I mean, like, if I'm being honest, like, no one, like, in the Big Brother had any big moments tonight.
No.
I mean, they got into arguments and
It's
stuff.
like they were reaching.
I will say,
were
like,
trying.
Jose and Devon were on their own thing. They were
Yeah,
fine.
they were totally cool.
Yeah, and but it's whatever. This one was really tough for me to pick out the superlative. So album of the week.
high school
album of the week.
We're working specifics here.
Yeah, I'll go first.
You can go first.
I was gonna be my pick last week, and I pivoted last minute.
Pivot.
Watch that pivot foot.
Pivot.
Yeah. So
Pivot.
I'm going Comeback Kid, Wake the Dead.
What was the one after that?
Broadcasting.
I think I like that one better.
I listened to that the other night when we were playing Rocket League, but it's Wake the Dead was my favorite. It still is.
Yeah.
Different,
I like Comeback
It's
Kid.
a different vocalist.
I'm normally not into that style.
It's more like
musically,
straight up like they're just a hardcore band.
Yeah.
Like, they're not metalcore or anything like that. But they're good. They're really good.
Yeah, they're good. Solid pick by you.
Yeah, I love that. I will probably get something tattooed from them at some point. A small filler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get tattooed, wake up the dead across your heart.
Not wake up the dead, but just wake the dead.
Wake the dead.
Wake up the dead. What's yours?
First, whatever you want to call it, emo core, hardcore, whatever they call it back in the day. First core album I ever bought back in the day. Dead Poetic, New Medicines.
I knew you were gonna pick that. Like we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Dead Poet Society.
No,
Dead Poetic. I like that is one of the albums you said last week. It was one that you don't think is gonna be good, and then you listen to it. That's that album for me.
That's a good album.
It's still really good.
Yeah.
Were you playing with us when we played at the Bluegrass Festival and covered a Dead Poetic song?
No, but I remember that.
Were you there?
I wasn't there, but I remember hearing about it.
Yeah,
This is not good.
me and some of you weren't there.
You weren't there.
no, but you told me about it.
Oh, you would have, but you can't say
no,
either way.
No,
Yeah.
there's no way it was good.
We were in.
Impossible.
Here's the thing, like honestly, like the bands that we were in, like they were not bad for 17, 18 year olds.
No, but you're
Well,
at
then
a
for us, like,
you
for
were at
me,
a
like-
bluegrass festival.
They asked us to play, and
My
we,
band,
I
we
don't
were like,
believe
we were
that.
like
They did.
15 and 16.
Yeah.
We were younger than you guys.
Yeah, they like we played an Under Oath song and a Dead Poetic song.
At a bluegrass festival.
That on
You do what you got to do to make a living.
in front of the river.
Listen,
It's outside.
Zachary, if we went to a bluegrass festival and somebody pulled some crap like that, I would be irate.
People were sitting on hay bales.
I would be irate.
Well, it happened, and
Good album, though, I think.
yeah, it
Still.
is good. So, what's yours?
Well, it's December, and so
The Decemberist. Here we go.
I do love the Decemberists,
I
man.
love the Decemberists.
Their-
That's not what I wrote,
first two
but
albums are
I
great.
love them. No, not where I'm going. It's December, so I can officially say that I've been listening to Christmas music since August. I've been like that my whole life, but I did start extra early this year. Usually I start late September, early October. Been like that my whole life. And so because I've been listening a whole lot the last couple weeks, my album of the week, high school album of the week, because I did listen to this a lot in high school, is Christmas Classics by Bing Crosby.
What in the world?
I hate crooners, and I know people.
I love all the crooners.
I know people. I always get crap about it. I hate it. I don't like crooning, like as a genre. It's not something I enjoy listening to.
The Rat Pack was my favorite.
I don't like. NSYNC's Christmas album. I could listen to that one.
Yeah, but I didn't listen to that one in high school.
I'm just saying, like, I don't. It's not specifically the fact that it's Christmas. I just don't like it.
I think you just hate Christmas in general.
No, I don't.
But you married a Christmas elf, so you get to just get over that.
I don't like Christmas music, honestly, for the most part. But so this week, the movie year we're going with, just following the pattern. It's 1999.
That's funny if this is the last week that we're doing of this.
It's not the last week we're doing of this.
Are we doing one next week?
We already talked about it. Just go ahead. Read your movie.
1999, my movie pick was Fight Club, one of my favorite movies.
I was a kid in high school that was kind of obsessed with Chuck Palahniuk books, and I read them all in high school.
Some of the most disturbing books.
There's definitely some like in college.
Way worse than the movie for sure.
Yeah, the book Fight Club, if you haven't read it, way better than the movie. It goes way more in depth about Project Mayhem. The movie's good though, but
great movie.
Yeah, I used to read all of his books, and yeah, they were in college. I just ended up giving some of them away to one of our weird friends because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to read these again.
You should have at least kept a copy of Fight Club. That's like the biggest one.
I had it, but I lost it. I still have some of his books downstairs. He comes across now a little bit too try hard sometimes, but
Nobody likes to try hard.
but yeah, I love
Jake.
I love Fight Club. That's a great movie. I could have easily picked that.
I had a hard time.
Do you want me to go first then?
Did you?
No, I've got it.
Did you really have a hard time
I did.
with
There were
this?
3 movies in particular, but the one that I actually watched recently that I think is just a super fun movie.
The Mummy.
Brendan Fraser in his prime, The Mummy.
What? That's your pick?
That is absolutely my pick.
That was my sarcastic joke.
No, that was my man. That movie. It's not funny.
It's not a funny movie.
No, it's not a funny movie.
That movie is so much fun. I could sit down and watch it right now and have
What do you feel about
a whale of a time.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson's in it.
No,
Not
it's
that one.
Not that one.
Not
No,
that
which
one.
one
You
was
don't know
he
your
in? The
mummy
last
movies,
one?
Hannah. You don't have any
Excuse
place
me,
to speak
I'm
on the
so
mummy
sorry.
movies.
He was the Scorpion King.
You don't disrespect
That's
Brendan Fraser.
right. I loved the Scorpion King.
There was
No,
a Scorpion King standalone.
Yeah, I
movie.
know.
yeah, I know. I remember that. I watched it. Did you watch it, Jake?
What do you think?
Yes.
No,
Yes, I watched it.
I loved the first Mummy movie. I loved it.
It's super good.
I just thought it was really funny that was your pick for this week.
No,
So-
that's a good one.
It is a good movie. I can't tell you how many times I
What'd
watched
you think?
it.
What'd you think about the Tom Cruise reboot?
Haven't watched it.
It's
I
not
want
supposed
to
be good.
though.
It's not supposed
I
to be
don't
want
wanna
to.
watch
Just
it.
out of
I've
respect
heard
to
so
Brendan
many
Fraser,
bad
I
things
want to
about
watch
it.
it.
Here's how bad it was. They had planned a whole dark universe.
Monster universe.
Yeah. After that movie, they're like, we're not doing it. We're not doing it anymore.
Which is a
Is that
shame
bad?
because Tom Cruise is great.
Yeah, he is. You can say she hates him.
Apparently not in this.
He's a
Did
good.
you watch Mission Impossible? Was it 6? Fallout?
the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went
great.
with you to
Oh,
watch
man.
it.
Yeah, we all went together.
Oh man. What a movie.
I was sitting in the theater
Hey.
with both of you.
Henry Cavill with a mustache.
I wish he would. Well, spoilers. I wish he would have hung around and been part of the
Man.
franchise. So my pick, I think, is one that you easily could have picked. I went with Iron Giant, which I haven't seen in a long time. I need to go back
good.
and watch it. I remember watching it as a kid and kind of being blown away at how good it was.
Is that the cartoon movie?
It's a cartoon, but Vin Diesel is the voice of the giant.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
know that.
Jennifer Aniston's a voice in it.
What?
And I don't remember who the kid is voiced by, but anyway, it's.
Macaulay Culkin.
I don't think so.
It was 99. It could have been.
He had already phased into his like real weird stage at that point.
He's still there.
Yeah, but
he's trying to come out.
yeah, it's the Iron Giant. I mean, it's one of the few like kids movies that like really translates across the board. And it's a standoff. They didn't make. I mean, a standoff. It's a standalone. They didn't make sequels. They didn't.
That would have ruined it.
Yeah, they didn't do a bunch of direct to VHS or direct to DVD.
Well, back then
things.
it was VHS. They didn't have DVDs back
They
then.
had DVDs in '99.
No.
Certainly didn't have VOD.
Okay, video
they
on
might. They had
demand.
pay per view and stuff back then.
Yeah, that's not video on
It's not
demand.
the same.
No.
What you looking at?
When
He's
did
gonna look it up.
When did DVDs come out?
What happened to Winn-Dixie?
It came.
That's
It
that
actually.
movie about that dog.
It came out. Not DVDs came like mass market '99. So it was right around the same time.
You're such
Why
a
are you
tryhard.
like this?
Such a tryhard,
It's not try hard. I just know when stuff happens.
Mr. Tech Guy over here?
So
No,
yeah,
not even that. Just
anytime anytime she always asks me because she does a lot. She's like, "Why are you like this?" And I just
because he's like this.
and I just look at her. I just say, "Why do you like this?" Every time.
And it drives me insane.
Oh, you say what?
Why she says, "Why are you like this?" And I say, "Why do you like piss?"
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
That's good.
Every,
That's good.
I didn't just then. I caught myself, and then.
You
but
can
yeah,
say it.
I did just twice.
Yeah,
Piss.
I know.
So
Say it.
No,
here's the thing.
but he also does another one where like if he pinches me or is like pushing me or something, I'll say stop. You're hurting me.
What about piss?
And I say stop. You're squirting pee.
And I'm like getting mad and trying to get him to stop, and he's like, "Pop, you're squirting pee."
I don't say pop. I say stop.
You do pop sometimes.
Yeah. It's again. I try to get in a fight with her every day. It's bringing it around full circle. So
Every day of my life, every waking moment of my life.
So, yeah, again, these reunions, we ended up having a lot more to talk about than we ever expected. And so we appreciate you sticking with us. This season was super fun for us. We're not going anywhere. That doesn't necessarily mean there will be a show next Tuesday, but we will have something soon. And we will have a look back at the season. We will do a look ahead to season 33. We have some other interviews and some stuff planned, so we'll see how the CT wedding thing goes. Again, we might do a one-off about the whole wedding if there's enough content, but I'm not going to promise that yet.
I don't think there will be enough content.
I just like seeing like Wes and people we haven't seen.
Yeah,
in a
but
while.
what I'm saying is I don't think there's going to be enough in part 1 for us to sit down and record.
No. That's why I think if we do it, it'll be just a one-off thing. So, again, thanks for sticking with us. I did the plugs earlier. If you're here, you probably have been with us by now. But again,
what does that mean? If you're here, you've probably been with us by now.
You're not a new listener, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
And so we hit over 26,000 downloads this week. We, again, never expected to hit those type of numbers. So we just all wanted to say thank you. We haven't done that specifically on the podcast, but
thanks.
We are not going anywhere, and we will, again, follow us on Twitter and things like that, and we'll let you know when we're back. So,
in the words of Tony, there are ups and downs. You made us a better pod. And now we're asking you to make us a complete pod. So take that however you want to. Thank you.
I don't know how to take that.
Take that job and shove it.
Don't say that to people.
Up
That's
your butt.
mean. Zach cut me off.
I did. I stopped the podcast.
Just say it already.
Because
come on.
I stopped it because he had already said this other speech and this other quote, and he just wasn't saying anything else. And so I stopped recording, but he wants to get in his catchphrase, so here we go.
I gotta go to bed.
Have a good night, everyone.